that now, but there we go. Hooray. Thank you, Julia. Hello, friends. My name is Missy Shipman, and I'm so delighted to be here to share with you some card making fun as part of the Baldwinsville Public Library virtual card making class. This is for June 2026. And we have 3 projects tonight, 3 card projects. With Father's Day coming up, I have one with some fish or lots of texture prints that you can mix and match for a more masculine card. We also have a thank you card that's with really beautiful colors. And then you'll have one of the 3 options here in your kit that will make a fun summertime adventure card. And so I'm going to show you in your box that you picked up from the public library. Thank you for your suggested donation. That allows me to keep making kits each month. And inside you'll have a cup of tea, a tea bag for a cup of tea. So it's a rainy night here in Baldwinsville tonight. It's been a hot, hot day, but cooled off a little bit with the rain, and maybe tea will be a nice evening treat for you. Also in the box will be a small square of our dimensionals. These are the mini dimensionals that we'll use on our card projects to pop up the elements. And then the supplies for the 3 cards. So I'm going to move the box away and we can get started. We're going to begin with the card that has the fish on it. It's a sort of a salmon colored card, coral color. And inside, you have all the pieces you need to create the card. We're going to do a little bit of stamping for the greeting. So if you have a similar sentiment, a size that will work for the circle, you can grab that. Otherwise, you could put a photograph here. You could calligraphy or print a message. You could print a message from the computer. You could leave that off. There's lots of opportunities when you don't have the same supplies as someone who's sharing with you. But inside, we've got a lovely greeting. So happy to have you in my life. So this is a great card for any occasion, but especially with Father's Day coming up, it seemed like a happy card to create. We've got the envelope with the pretty grid inside. It's printed with that black grid. It looks a little bit like a screen printing. And then we have our card base. I'm going to go ahead and score that on the crease. Crease it on the score line, fold that for us. That will be our card base. And then we're going to build up a collage with the papers. So this is a easy card template using Designer Series paper scraps. And these measure 1.5 inches by 1 3/4 inches. And after we make this card, I'm going to show you some others that are made with those same dimensions, just to inspire you a little bit more to use your paper scraps. You just need tiny pieces. You could grab a magazine or some of your junk mail that comes and just look for interesting textures and colors and cut these rectangles to add to your card. Okay, so as you know, our paper with Stampin' Up has 2 sides. It's double-sided paper, so you can mix and match the designs that you want for your card. Once you get a design that you like, we're going to do some gluing, but you can kind of fiddle and see. I really like the ones that look like fabric. We've got denim and sort of a tweedy look. This one looks like a linen with knots on it, nautical knots, like netting. I like that one too with a fish, some water, and some fish up in the corner. So I'm making it the same as my sample card, but you can mix and match your designs as you wish. This card also works nicely as a landscape card. And if you wanted to do that, you could have your fish upside down like they're hanging in the fish market in Seattle, or you can flip it and then all of them would be in that correct orientation. So let's go ahead. We're going to use some Tombow glue. You can use whatever adhesive you have handy. We will be using the dimensionals tonight that came in your kit, but otherwise you'll want to find an adhesive, a liquid adhesive, or one of the a seal, tape runner kind, or a glue stick, something that will have a nice quick drying application of your glue. And we're going to just put these in. I've cut them so that they leave a nice mat around the outside. The blue piece, this Misty Meadow piece, measures 4 by 5 1/4. And that will mat right on top of the standard card base. So again, leaving that little mat around. And so some of that corally salmon coral color will show. And you know I'm not a precision crafter, so I don't worry too much about things being lined up exactly, but just take your time. You can get them so they have a nice border around them. So there's our base. Then we're going to do a little bit of stamping for our sentiment. And I'm using the stamp set called Creative Haven. And this has some really neat large sentiments as well as small words that can go inside. And this is a stamp set currently on our last chance list. Every couple of months, Stampin' Up updates our list of products that are discounted because they're going to be retiring and making room for more new products. So we're going to use this You're the Best. And when we work with photopolymer stamps, these clear mount stamps, we want to have a cushion underneath. Those of you who remember our wood blocks that had red rubber and foam, they had a cushion here. This is a stamp that's just applied to the clear block. And so we're having a cushion underneath the stamp here, which will help make the ink apply really evenly. So we've got that juiced up. You're the best. Gonna push down, just make sure my fingers walk around the full sentiment, especially in the center. Sometimes it tends to not pick up the ink. You're the best. And then while I have my ink handy, I'm gonna go ahead and stamp on the inside of my card. We're gonna add the sentiment. So happy to have you in my life. So again, this is an anytime card. It doesn't have to be for a Hallmark holiday, but you can have it in your stash ready to send. There we are. So now we have a few more pieces to put together. We're going to add our circle to the punch circle that I punched from the same paper as our card base so that it would really pull together those colors. And then we have the fish. Now I experimented a little bit with fussy cutting some of the fish, and that makes a fun element as well. But then I landed on having the most fish show by having the full rectangle piece. The back of this is a fun plaid, so you definitely have options for how you want to create this card. So we'll put our fish right on there. I love that it's printed to look like linen fabric. You can kind of see the texture there, and then the fish added in the watercolor look. So we're ready to put this onto our card front, and I'm using some dimensionals to pop that up, this layer, as well as the circle layer. So first we'll put the card that we've added the papers to onto our card base. This is where you just double check that your card is opening this way, the way we do in English speaking books, they open that direction. But it's fun sometimes if you have an oops and your card opens this way, then that's just a fun surprise for somebody who receives it. Believe me, that'll just give them a chuckle. They'll be delighted to have mail from you. So we're our own best critic, right? Our worst critic. We kind of can feel like things need to be just so. But when we send a card in the mail, we are sending a lot of joy, and we don't have to worry about perfection. So I'm taking off those little wax liners and exposing the adhesive on the dimensional. And now I can pop that on to the card front and do the same with the circle. I do like having things popped up. It adds a lot of dimension and design here. We're gonna peel those away. And then I'm adding it just kind of down in the, a little bit toward the bottom here. You can decide based on how your fish are, you might position your circle differently, but that's all there is to it. This is a really simple card, simply made with scraps of designer series paper. And again, I challenge you to go through your junk mail or old magazines or what have you to find some colorful texture pieces. These are cut at 1.5 by 1 3/4 inches. So here's one that's made with the Fern and Flora suite. This one has a little bit of gold foil for that circle and some embossing, some dry embossing of the ferns around the outside. Here's one with the lily of the valley. And this one I used just a little hint of, it's called Wink of Stella. And it makes those little white lily of the valley have a tiny bit of sparkle.
And
And
I
this
think
is some,
you
can,
put, yeah, you put a little bit of texture on the edge of the oval.
yes, I did. Yes, I sponged a little bit of the green ink on the edge and then painted the Wink of Stella a little bit. And then this is really sparkly paper on the side here. It's hard to see on camera, but it's got little silver threads that are super sparkly. Here's another fun one with some fish and boating themes with plaids and different textures. This one, I cut the elements out of the designer series paper. And the same with this Pooh Bear one. This is the new Silly Old Bear suite that we have. I love the sentiments that are a part of this suite. And again, I've just those same 6 pieces. But this one of these things is not like the other. This one has a landscape orientation instead of a portrait orientation. So it just shows how you can flip and flop those designer series papers to fit the design of your card. So that's just some more fun inspiration. You'll see how whatever you put on top of those 6 rectangles can vary in shape, in size, but it gives a cool background texture for your cards. I can't wait to see what you'll make. All right, let's set that one aside. And next we'll work on our large chocolate chip envelope card. So if you choose to mail this, this does need some additional postage because of its square shape and because it's a larger envelope. But it will delight your recipient, whether they receive it by mail or if you hand deliver it. So I'm going to take out our pieces here. Make sure we got everything. This is a nice big envelope. And we have a piece of white for the inside of our card. You'll see here it opens up. And this one opens up, so it's like it called a tent card, where it stands like this instead of opening from the side. It opens at the top, but you could do it either way. Any of these cards you can just flip flop. I like the large card being like a tent. I think it will look really nice on someone's desk or a bedside table. Okay, so while we're pulling pieces out, I'm just going to go ahead and work with them as they come out of the pile. So this is the little strip that we're adding to the white paper, just to give a little hint of the color to the inside of the card. I kept this one without any sentiment stamped inside. This is one when I really want to write a special message to someone. I've got lots of room. If you don't want to have as much space for writing, then you can stamp some images, cut out images, add a photo. This is almost like a little mini scrapbook page. You've got lots of real estate there to play with. So that's the inside of my card.
Yeah,
Now, these are the pieces that will go together for the outside of the card.
I just wanted to pass on
Yeah.
that Nancy Salinger Crast says that she really likes seeing all these samples of different ways of doing things.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I've been finding that really useful for myself. It started because sometimes when I get a new product, products, I'm not quite sure what to do with them. You almost get overwhelmed of like, well, this is beautiful, but what am I going to make? So I have a couple of card designs that are just kind of my go-to so that I can get that mojo going. And so by pulling out these papers and just cutting into those big 12 by 12 sheets of paper and just jumping in and getting little pieces to play with, that's a great strategy for me. So it kind of started that way. And then I would look, what else do I have on my table or what else do I have on my shelf to make some more of that same design. So thanks, Nancy. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Now there are 5 designer series paper squares in this kit. These measure 2.5 by 2.5. And the thank you, we're going to put on one of them. So you can kind of audition. I think it might look nice on the green. You can flip them over to see the different shapes, different pieces. So this one here that has the blue stripes is the one I used for the thank you in the center. But this time, I think I'm going to use the green one just to change it up a little bit because that chocolate chip is bold enough to show up well on any of these. If
I
there's
was
too
just
much
I was just
pattern in
gonna
the
say,
back, it's
check
a
it on
little
the orange
distracting.
one.
What's that?
I was
Do you
gonna
like
say,
this one?
check it on the orange one. That's
Okay,
pretty.
let's do that. So that, yeah, that's going to look really nice. It's a nice bold one. So we're going to mount that. These I actually did something special for you. I put adhesive paper on them before I ran them through the die cut machine. So they're like little stickers now. So you're going to peel off the backing. Just be gentle, be patient, I mean, because the papers, you don't want to tear the paper. And if it's tricky to get it off, you can use a tool like we have the take your pick tool. I have mine, so here it is. Um, and so if it's hard to get the paper off, sometimes I use a little tool like this that will help pick up the paper. Sometimes it's easier for me to do it just with my fingers, but I'm going to try to demonstrate if you want to use a tool. You kind of scratch the paper to take it off, but I might make it easier just with my hands. Let's try this here. Depending on what your nails are like, sometimes people like to use a tool. Can you see that? Okay, let me put the brown behind me. So I've got this paper. I'm just using the tool to peel that away gently. And then it's a sticker now, so I can put it right onto this decorative square that has the little flower printing. I think it looks like fabric. It's so pretty. So I'm going to put thank you here. There's the thank, and then the U. So now I'm going to peel off the wax paper liner. This is wonderful when you're working with detailed images, because using glue for this, you'd have to use just dot, 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 not a lot, just tiny little bit of glue to adhere it. So I find that the stickers are easy, but I'm not demonstrating that very well to show the simplicity tonight. But you're going to peel off the white layer. It comes off pretty simply once you focus here. There we are. And now I can put the U there. Thank you. Okay. So pull that a little bit. Thank you. Isn't that fun? Now we can mount this onto the orange square. Trying to remember the name of this designer series paper. It's similar to Crisp Cantaloupe, which is a current color. So there we have thank you. And then on I now have 4 squares to figure out how I want to put them and put them onto the large Crisp Cantaloupe square. So I have the green. I kind of like these are sort of more solidy. So I'm going to have green and blue opposite each other, and then the stripes kind of opposite each other. So you can decide I'm going to do it this way. So all the stripes are going vertically. But again, you'll have lots of options. There's different papers on different sides, so you can mix and match. We'll add our designer series paper to the squares. So it's fun how just these 2 cards that I have are coming out quite a bit differently based on the sides of the paper that I'm showing. And yours might be altogether different from mine based on the choices you make. There we are. These colors are so gentle. There we are. And then we're going to use dimensionals again to pop up this center greeting. Okay. I'm going to put 1 in each corner and 1 in the middle. These are the mini dimensionals. Lately, they've been my favorite. They do the job of a large one. They're really sticky, and there's more of them in the sheet. You can and put them on little smaller pieces too. There's our outside of our card. This is fun paper. It has some texture to it. We're going to adhere this with glue or whatever adhesive you're using tonight to help it be flat. And it's going to be centered so it'll have that matte all the way around. And I love this look. Both of these cards have around the designer paper, they have a color. This one's darker than lighter. This one's lighter than darker. So when you have that contrast, it really pleases the eye I think it helps create dimension as well. And then the last thing is just to add our inside piece. And that's important because this is a chocolate chip base, dark brown base. And you could use a white gel pen, of course, if you didn't have a white liner. But the white liner is going to give the most options for people to do their writing inside. So I like to provide that if my card base is a dark color. What do you think? Isn't it fun how the same supplies made a little bit different look? Mhm.
That's
Okay.
pretty amazing. Just switching the squares around is all.
Yeah, yep. And then this one was flipped over. So instead of the blue, this was brown instead of the blue, I think was the one that was different. And then you switch them around. So
So
very
many
fun.
possibilities.
Yes. Now for our final project, we are going to make one of these three cards. In your kit, you have the supplies to make one of them. And these are delightful summertime fun cards. You could use them all year round, but they definitely look like summer adventures to me. Um, one is sort of the beach scene, a city scene, and a mountain adventure scene. So in your kit, you'll have one of those cards. I'm going to pull mine now. Let's see here. Here it is. Okay. So I'm going to be working on the one that has the beach scene. But as we go along, I'll also share with you the other two so that depending on the one you have, you'll be able to put it together very simply. Our first step is simply to fold the card base. And I love that they're that 50s retro kind of geometric designs. And then for each card, here are the two other ones here. Let me show you. The first steps are to adhere the snow globe looking shape and the tree. So we have the snow globe we're going to put on with the dimensionals. That's the theme for tonight and why I made sure everybody had a little piece of the dimensionals in their kit. And you'll see I'm being pretty generous with the ones here. Some people would cover it with many more, but that's plenty. Usually it's good to put one in the center if your card has a large shape like this, just to help buoy that middle bit. That's going to be in the center here, or it's actually a little bit north of center, but you can decide on your design how you'd like it. And then we'll take our tree next. Now the tree, we're just going to add dot, 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 not a lot, a little bit of adhesive here to stick it onto because some of it's hanging over the edge. So you don't want to get glue under these palms or under this tree. I have that one here to show you, this tree. Or the wilderness one, you don't want glue all the way to the edge because it looks great if it's kind of spilling over the edge a little bit. Okay, now two of the cards have vellum, and the reason the truck and the beach mobile here have vellum is because it's to look like the windows, look like the glass in the windows. So you kind of have to look closely, but you can see how the vellum here has muted the colors from the outside. Here's another view. You can see how so it's meant to look like the glass of the car. Now the convertible doesn't have any because top's down. So if you have the convertible car, you won't have this vellum step, okay? But for the truck and the beach mobile, we've got some vellum. So I'm being careful that I don't want to put glue where the vellum's going to show by the windows. So I'm going to put it down here by the wheels and then just a tiny thread up at the top. And I can place that down. Okay. So I'm going to do the same for the truck one here. Going to take adhesive and put it just down where the wheels are so that I can put that in place. Okay. If you're working on the car one in the city, then you don't have to do that vellum step because there isn't vellum for that one. Okay. Next, we're going to add the vehicles. So I'm going to use dimensionals for each one. I'm going to put them down by the wheels and another one in the center. Here's my truck. And do the same thing down by the wheels in the center and by the wheel. And my cruising along convertible. So convertible doesn't have any vellum. You don't have to line anything up. You're just going to place it on the card. And now on top of the vellum, I'm going to add the little orange car. So it's fun. Now you can see it looks like the glass is there in the windows. And our truck. There we are. Okay, so now the fun is to embellish with some words and with some stuff that goes into the car. So our words, I'm going to pop up with the dimensionals. And something fun about the kits that are available, kits collection kits and paper pumpkin kits, is they often include uh, greetings in different languages. So this time everybody gets English, but it's fun if you have someone who speaks French or German or Dutch. You can delight them with a greeting in a different language. And I sometimes like to send those to my friends who I know don't know those languages. So then they can Google Translate to figure out what my message is. So here, that one I'm going to put up a little bit higher.
It occurs to me
Uh-huh.
that, you don't have any drivers in there. If you had other cutouts
Oh,
that have people on them, I suppose you could put some people in the driver's seat.
yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? It would be fun actually if you got a little photo of someone you know, of your friend that you're
Oh,
sending it
right.
to, and you just have to get it printed so it's a small photo, right? That would be
So it's
really
the right
funny.
size. Yeah.
I'm going to move this one up. You can put your greeting any way you like. On this sample, I have it just underneath the blue, but here I'm going to move it up a little bit just to show you there's always options. Okay. Now let's add the accessories to the beach card. So we have some surfboards that are going to go on the top. Going to add dot dot, not a lot, just a tiny bit of glue, and put that up on the roof. That seagull's pretty curious. And then I have a suitcase. So the suitcase we can put with a dimensional. And then I'm going to tuck, it's designed so this little piece kind of tucks underneath the car, just so the two suitcases will show. So we're just going to put that down under so that it looks like it's riding right there with the um, surfboard. So much fun. Okay, for the cruising through to another year, this is a celebration, right? It could be an anniversary card or a birthday card. So we're going to add some luggage and some balloons to this one. The luggage, I think I'm going to put down just so that it's flat, and that way the balloons can dance above it a little bit. So I'm taking some dimensionals. Again, you have just one of these cards in your kit. If you'd like more, if you think it'd be fun to make more of these cards, I do have these kits available. I'll have a couple at the library tomorrow. And if you aren't able to come tomorrow, just let me know. I can save one for you. It makes 9 cards, 3 each of each design. So that's a lot of fun. And then for our adventure, let the adventure begin, we have lots of luggage and kind of like a backpack sort of suitcase here. So these I'm going to pop up with the dimensionals as well.
It's a pickup, so you can put more in the trunk.
That's right. That's right. So we've got some suitcases and the luggage in the back there. Just pop them in. You just want to make sure they aren't showing through the front windows because they're meant to be in the back of the trunk, in the trunk bed. So there we are. These I think are just delightful, and they're blank on the inside, ready for you to add a message. They also have that fun greeting all the way on the back, the fun printed card. And I know that some of you, when you have a set like this, will actually cut it in half and then mount this part on another piece of cardstock. And that way you've got one orange base plus another orange base to work with. So again, it's easy and fun to stretch your supplies when you want to create differently with them. So let's bring back in the other cards. We've got our 3 summer fun adventure cards, your tea. Some of you have raspberry tea, I think, and some have wild berries. You know that I love tea. I'm a big fan of herbal teas, citrus and berries. I love that kind of tea. And then here is our fish card. So this has been lots of fun tonight. I've enjoyed working together. These were pretty simple to assemble cards. I hope that was fun and satisfying. And I'll really look forward to how you use the template for this card. Again, remember these measure 1 1/4 by 1 3, I'm sorry, 1 1/2 by 1 3/4 inches. You could do different sizes, but that you'll see balances the mat underneath really well.
Mhm.
So lots of fun possibilities. I
Yep, and
always
see that?
enjoy seeing you, and Julia, and I love your requests or your questions. So if there's something you'd like to learn to do with card making, please pass that along. And I would like to learn along too if it's something that's new to me. It's always fun to share. And we wish you the very best for summer fun. Stay cool and dry these days. Julia, thank you so much for hosting us.
Yeah. Thank you. This is so creative and so much fun. And with that vellum, it's made me have all kinds of ideas of pulling out a photograph of somebody and like cutting around the
I
person's
absolutely love that
profile
idea
so
and
they could
tucking
be
them
in the
right into the
truck.
driver's seat, or you could put them, this one might be the easiest to kind of put them right into the convertible
Right,
there
but it
too.
has to be a little bit more precise on that one. Where if
Yeah.
it's behind the vellum could
Yeah, I
help.
see what you mean. It could be a little fuzzy if it's behind the vellum, right?
Right.
Yeah. Very fun. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and we wish you the very best. I can center the thank you there. There we go.
Very good. Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you
Have a
so
great
much.
night.
Good night.